What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna look at my 1/5 scale Redcat Clawback crawler. Now this thing is pretty awesome. It's definitely a crowd favorite. Anytime anyone ever sees this thing, it's usually nothing but thumbs up and lots of questions about it. So this is one of the only 5th scale crawlers on the market. Exceed RC made a 5th scale crawler briefly that was pretty much made of all the same pieces, but it looked more like a traditional rock crawler, whereas this looks a little bit more like a trail truck, but the architecture is very similar. So this thing uses motor on axle, which means there is a motor on each one of these axles. It's controlled by a single ESC, and today I'm running it on a 3S battery. All right, so if we take a look here at the axle, you can see all the way back here, if it'll focus, there is a 550 sized brushed motor. The transmission is built into the axle, and then we've got a 5th scale steering servo on the back. Now, a servo on the back, of course, that means that this has 4-wheel steer, and that's all controlled with this transmitter. So this transmitter actually is pretty cool for what you get. It's kind of old school, but there we go. It's kind of old school, but you know, it does everything you need it to do. And we can scroll between our different steering modes by using this button. See, there we have front steer, crab steering, opposite steering, and rear steering, and then back to front. So not a bad 3-channel transmitter that comes with it. I'm still using the stock transmitter because it gets the job done. So this thing is pretty big. I mean, let's look at it compared to a can of beer. So yeah, that'll kind of give you an idea of just the size of this thing. So this is pretty much 100% stock. Other than running a 3S LiPo battery in it, you know, that's really no modifications at all. The body is a 2-piece body, so front half, back half. It's a PVC body and it's pretty rigid. So far it's held together pretty nicely. I removed some of the stickers because Redcat always puts a bunch of stickers on their cars, and some of them are kind of gaudy, but I left the essential ones on there, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now this differs from a normal trail truck. This doesn't have a ladder chassis. It has kind of a different chassis, similar to like an Everest 10. So not super duper scale, but this thing is awesome and it's a lot of fun to drive. And being that it has 2 motors on each axle, it's pretty capable. Kind of an old school design, but it gets the job done nicely. So that's enough talking. Let's see what this thing is like on the trail. So the turning radius in front wheel steer is pretty atrocious, but if we swap it on over to all wheel steer, you can see it turns a heck of a lot sharper. And being that this vehicle is pretty large, having the addition of rear wheel steer definitely helps it. So these are some pretty aggressive rocks for 1/10 scale trucks, but this thing usually does pretty good getting over them. I mean, just no problem. No problem. So it crawls pretty nicely. Flat out, I mean, it's not very fast. But whatever, I mean, it's fast enough. So most terrain that would really be a challenge for most 1/10 scales, this thing just does not care at all. I mean, you could almost go right up the stairs with this thing. In fact, it just so happens that we have some stairs here. Let's see what this thing can do. Might have to go at a bit of an angle. Yep. Might have to try a better angle there. Oh, it wants to. It wants to. Oh, it's so close, guys. Boom, there it is. So yeah, this thing will drive up steps. So it's a little bit different of a driving experience. Like I said, you know, you can't drive it the same way as a 1/10 scale vehicle because it just, you know, none of that stuff is challenging. You got to find new challenges, which is a good part of the hobby, you know, always finding something new and exciting. But yeah, it's super fun. If you've never driven one of these, I highly recommend it. It is a good time. You know, it's just so unlike anything else you really get as far as crawling goes. So yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good terrain around here. Let's, what do you say we cut to the montage and make some cool little crawling videos, huh? Let's do it. Roll that beautiful bean footage. This thing is pretty epic. I enjoy it a great deal. Man, we've been doing a lot of 5th scale stuff lately, but if you've been thinking about buying one of these, just do it. I mean, like I said, there's really nothing else like it out there, unless you wanted to custom build something yourself, and if that's your thing, that's pretty cool. But this, I think I paid, I don't know, like $550 for it, maybe. And you can usually find them between the $500 to $600 range. So if you've been thinking about it, just do it, man. It's a good time. This thing really does well on the rocks. I really don't have a lot of rocks right here that I wish I could show you, but trust me, man, when you take this thing out on really big boulders, the stuff that a 1/10 scale wouldn't even dream of, this thing can do it, and it's pretty awesome. Ethan actually borrowed this and took it to a crawling event in a town close by, and when he took it there, this thing was a hit. Everyone was taking pictures and asking questions about it, and you know, everyone there seemed to love it. He actually got some FPV footage of this thing just careening over stuff. I'll put some of that in here right now. So yeah, I mean, strap a GoPro on this thing and get some pretty cool footage. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. If this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found it. We like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time, so stick around. We've got some pretty cool stuff coming up. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.